telling, selling, framing, enrolling, and then I'm also going to talk to you guys about some things that are upcoming that I think you'll find pretty valuable. It's John Cheplack Saturday morning with I don't know, I think it's probably 150 degrees out here in Vegas, and I just got done with the workout, so I can handle a little bit of heat. Anyways, I wanted to kind of share with you thematically what I've seen for many, many years, and it comes up a lot, and it's really a shift, and a part of that shift has to be is we want to get stuff done now, but you know, there's getting stuff done now, but then there's getting stuff done. And you know, it's that immediate gratification society that we live in, that we operate in, that we function in, but that's not going to win the long game, and you've got to play the long game to win. So what I want to help you with is, you know, how you're leading other people and how you are actually getting them to take action. You know, you've heard me say it 100 times, is that you can't make a human being productive. All you can do is facilitate the best condition for them to choose to be productive or choose not to be. Now, here's the challenge that's going to come up is you're going to get to a point where maybe they're not producing and the numbers aren't where you want them to be. And I'll talk about when you take some risks a little bit later in the video and where you maybe really ratchet it up a little bit. But I'm going to tell you up front, you know, top down isn't going to make it work, okay? The first thing that I want to take you back to, the condition that you have right now in your organization is based on the way you hire people. I had 40 some coaching calls this week, and a number of them talked about that. And you know, the people that get it in leadership recognize that, wow, my people are behaving today, or not behaving, whatever you want to call it, based on how I hired them. You bet, and that's okay. But you can't just go back and say, you're going to change. What you've got to do is you've got to build a subculture. And that's why we've got to constantly be recruiting. And so you bring people in with a new framing, with a new language. See, what happens in the recruiting process is we're overselling. And so when we oversell, we don't get clear on expectations. It's not that you're misleading people. It's not that you're hiding things. You know, if it's feeling good, you know, we're trained to sell people and tell them how great it is. Well, how many of you are telling people how great it's not? Because every one of your organizations have some experiences that are not going to be great. So then what happens when you hit that point? It's a shock. You let people know that you've got dysfunction. But what I really want to help you with in anything, so say for example, you want to get your agents to, and a lot of people are doing these accountability groups. Well, you just can't say, we're going to do accountability groups and it's going to be good for you and you're going to do this. I mean, you can say anything you want to, but I can tell you how that play is going to end, okay? Not good. You're going to be in the same spot that you're in. And these are these tiny hinges that swing big doors. You've got to frame people into what you want them to do. You've got to bring them into story. Story's so critical because what you're looking to do is have them find where they fit in the story. And once they find, that common ground place, whether it's a struggle or whether it is a discovery or whether it's a breakthrough, once you get them to identify their spot in the story, you've got them. You've made the emotional and psychological bond. I mean, I'm telling you guys, we're in, y'all are talking about, I say y'all talking about disruption and innovation, man. I think that's all a joke. I mean, I'm going to rant on that. Innovation, gosh, people are going to innovate. Here's my definition of innovation. See something new and go do it when you haven't even done what we need to be doing, which is video every single day. I mean, listen, how about completion? You can't innovate until you've completed and have a consistency in what was innovation 9 years ago. Video was innovation 9 years ago, and people aren't doing it consistently, but I digress. What I want to bring you into, so for example, there goes my other cell phone down, so I want to enroll people in accountability. Well, those that are doing the accountability groups, what they're doing is they found a story that relates to accountability. I did. Reggie Miller scores 8 points in 9 seconds. What happened? There was a deadline. He had a commitment. There's a public declaration. There's people out there. He's going to be held accountable, okay? And so as the deadline comes, his behavior changes. And so I watch people go through that, and we have 30, 40 people in a room playing that video on their cell phones. There's noise. They're having this experience. And I've done this multiple times. And then I ask them what happened. And they come with the answers. Well, there's a deadline. Sometimes you've got to, feed them a little bit to get them there. Awesome. So can you see how having a deadline with a commitment that's declared publicly, so you've got to enroll people. You can't just tell them, we're going to hold you accountable, and this is what's going to do for you. No, you got to define what accountability is, because then what you got to remember too is we were all held accountable, and unfortunately our experience of accountability really sucked. It felt like condemnation. And so what you got to let people know is accountability is observing and noticing without judgment. But, you know, that's a whole other piece. For my one-on-one coaching clients, you've got the entire webinar recording on it. You got the training documents. And let me tell you something. That's moving mountains with people. It really, really is. Now, what do you do with recruiting? I want people to recruit. We're going to pay you this. Go recruit people. Well, who cares? I've tested that one. Okay? Here's what you need to do. You need to frame them into it. What's in it for me? It's 101. It's basic. So what's in it for agents if they recruit? Well, first of all, we raise the collective genius of the organization. Look around the room. How have you benefited from some of these great people? How have you learned from them? How have they supported you? Awesome. In this community that we're creating. Well, if this community gets bigger, we get smarter, we do more, we have an even better experience, and we can take over the market. Who wants to be a part of that? See, you enroll people. It's simple. You can't just say, I'm going to pay you to do this. That's the problem with our business too, is we're going to pay you to this. We're going to pay you to that, pay you to that. And then we wonder why people are so focused on money, 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 money. The truth is, the unconscious brain, the human condition is, in looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people are conditioned on an experience, and experience will move people. An experience will move people. So look at that framing. If you've got a great book that you read, okay, that you want people to read, man, you've got to, you can't just say, read this book. What you've got to do is say, hey, here's a great book. Here's what I discovered. Here's some ways I think it can help you. And also, we get great value from your input. And so if after you read it, if you can take some notes and bring it to us. So it's those tiny hinges that swing big doors. The challenge is you guys are productive people. You're action takers. And so you expect that people are just going to do it. Well, bad news and good news. Good news is they're not. Good news is them not doing that is your job security. Bad news is you've got to continue driving to that. The really good news is if you understand attaching to the process and detaching from the outcome and understanding that you're working with human beings that need to be framed into things, that, you know, people are not inspired by your to-do list. They're not inspired by your to-do list. Okay, you've got to meet them where they're at. So I just want you to remember that. Frame people. Don't sell people and don't tell people, and frame them. Let them discover. Let them enroll themselves. Let them volunteer, and you're going to win. Now, what do you do when people, you've done all these things and they're not productive? Listen, you got to take risks. There is a point, I'm not saying doing this, but sometimes you got to piss someone off. Sometimes you do. I mean, when you've tried everything, you've framed them in accountability groups, you've framed them into training, you've framed them into coming to sales meetings, they're doing all the things and nothing's happening, or they're not doing all the things and nothing's happening. But you've come to that point where you've had very clear conversations with, you got to tighten it up, you got to ratchet it down, you got to test them, because there does come a point where the choice that needs to be made. But the point in doing that is not constantly so that you're running a fear-based organization. What you do is you do that when it's come to that point, or fish or cut bait. I think that's how that saying goes. And I fished when I was a kid. That's when you take the risk of pissing off. But here's what you do. You just keep, get them to make commitments, micro commitments. Don't overwhelm them. Find a story. Find examples. Do it in your copywriting. Think about your copywriting. I had to get out of that sun, man. Woo. And my arm's going to fall off too, because I used that arm to work out. Of course, I used both my arms to work out. Use it in your copywriting. How about, the consumer is numb, okay? The consumer's numb to advertising today. And again, as I share with you guys, I sit with guys that spend multi-million dollars worth of advertising. And they're saying right now, blend in to stand out. Blend in to stand out. So say you want to target first-time home buyers. Well, tell a story. Are you a first-time home buyer that has fears, concerns, da-da-da-da-da-da? Well, I understand, and I'm going to tell you a story about Sally. She felt the same way too, and until she discovered our special first-time home buyer hand-holding system we have. See the framework there, you guys? Tell people stories. They're done, man. This cheesy, outdated, recycled sales dialogue, it's like you're pitching them a softball. You're pitching them a softball. You're throwing it right at them, and they're just going to, they're ready for it, and they're done with it. The people that are winning, that are getting a lower cost per lead and a higher conversion, are meeting the consumer and having a conversation with them. So a couple other updates that I want to talk to you about. I guess my other cell phone was blocking the lens here. Mastermind's coming up, and here's what I'll say is this is, dang it, I gotta learn how to do video. See, and here's the thing too, ready? Been doing video forever. I don't care how sexy it is. I don't care if it's got a hat on backwards. What I care is I'm doing it. Just a side note. Just do it, you guys. Just do it. Okay? So, we're in this volatile, disruptive innovative industry, you know, I say just go out and do what you need to do. I mean, it's like there's better things to talk about. Talk about what you did. But with that said, we need to stay out in front. And so what I'm going to be doing is Monday, Tuesday, I'll be with the War Room guys, two of the founders of Digital Marketer, #1 educational company, in my opinion, in the world. And it is going to be on what their latest discoveries in multi-millions of emails they've been launching, getting open rates, getting conversions, okay? And so I'll be with them. And then I will be with for 2 days, so just gathering up content, staying up in front, and we're testing it and bringing it to you guys. And then I will be with the founders of ManyChat in Texas in a couple weeks for 2 days. So they will be bringing in the top chatbot ninjas. I'll be in a room of helicopter heads getting the current, you know, what is going on. If you're not familiar with ManyChat, I don't know, everyone says they're #1, but apparently they are the best in the chatbot world. They're going to have up to speed stuff there. Some of the best digital marketers will be in the room there. So just constantly, you know, striving to stay out in front. I'm learning right alongside you guys, learning and testing. And you know, the key thing is this: is innovation isn't doing something new, you guys. Innovation is doing something that was new that you haven't finished yet. You can't call yourself an innovator. You know, if I'm doing this next, but you haven't completed something else, you're an avoider. You're not an innovator. Let me say it again. If you go to some seminar and you go try something new because this is the newest, coolest thing, but you don't even have a video initiative that's going consistently, you're not an innovator, you're an avoider. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's finding 1 or 2 things, doing it consistently and doing it really good, and you'll get every damn title that you want. You'll get that you're the disruptor. You'll get that you're the innovator. You'll get everything because you're freaking winning. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what you guys are about. It's about winning. Now, wake up every day, give yourself a chance to win by taking care of your health. I woke up really late today, I think 5:30, but I don't know. I'm a nut. It's fun being a nut because I get to hang around all you guys. So just, and again, it is, doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get it going, and you don't have to do it right. You just need to be consistent, because if you're consistent, eventually you'll get it right. All right, much love to y'all. Peace out. September 27th and 28th. I can promise you that mastermind in Vegas is going to be off the hook. And that's it. Talk to you later. Bye.